Hey BFFs. I did not give y'all a lead in to let y'all know I was going live, but I'm here. Hey Abinah. Hey Miss Mouse. Hey One Queen Yari. Yeah, I didn't give y'all no kind of intro, no kind of promo video, and I'm late. I'm just like, look, whoever's supposed to be here is supposed to be here. Hey Lakeisha, but I am grateful for everyone that shows up. How are you guys today? Crystal's Intuition, how are you? Hey Kia, it is Monday. Yes. Hey Kathleen. Thank you so much, Yari. I appreciate that. Happy Monday. So let me tell y'all why I'm excited about Mondays. Mondays are the do-over. Hey Tiana. Hey Dawn. Hey Tarot by Karen. Mondays are the do-over. You know, we've had a whole weekend to reevaluate our lives, to get things in order, to figure out what we're going to do better. And Monday gives us this starting point every week to do that. You know, hi TIA Collective and Lulu. Hey Morticia Adams. Hey Fairy Magic. You know, so Monday is just like that reboot. Monday is like, okay, this is how we're going to be better. This is how we're going to do better. This is what we're going to do better, you know? And this for me is vacation week. It is self-care week for me. So I do not have any readings booked this week, but I do have things I need to work on, things I need to complete. Hey, Natasha. And self-care. You know, so I am doing some things that I've been putting off for myself this week. Hey, Felix, to get them done. So, you know, this is my do-over. Hey, Kindness Magic, welcome. This weekend, I was just like, yeah, it's time for, actually I had to plan this like a couple weeks in advance, but yeah, I've just been not neglecting self, but just some of the things that I want to do that are just for me that, you know, don't have anything to do necessarily with the work that I do. So, you know, washing clothes. I want to go to the bookstore. You know, I work in a semi-bookstore, spiritual spot. But I got it. My hubby bought me a gift card to Barnes & Noble a while ago. And I haven't got a chance to use it. So I'm like, yes, I'm going to the bookstore. And I'm going to go have sushi today because I want sushi. So today is just that day for me to be like, you know what? Yeah, I'm doing for me. A lot of it has to do with this new moon that's coming up. So let me tell y'all, we have a new moon in Leo coming up tomorrow. And I can't remember if it's like late tomorrow night or early Wednesday morning. Either way, you know, new moon is tomorrow. And it's in Leo. Sushi where? I don't know yet. I'm meeting a girlfriend of mine, and because we always have our little sushi dates and we catch up. I haven't caught up with her in a long time, so I don't know where we're going yet. But we got a couple stops that we, you know, are palling around to do in the streets today. So, hey, Altrina. Hey, Imaginary Restaurant. So, this new moon in Leo that's coming up, Leo is all about being bold, being courageous. You know, it has to do with, it's just Leo energy, you know, very dramatic, very bold, very dynamic, very egocentric, you know. This last moon cycle has me in my feelings. Well, yeah, because there were two new moons in Cancer this last cycle. So yeah, it was heavy for you, Felix, you know, but we get to break into Leo. And so, you know, Leo is just about, hey, see me, hear me roar. You know, really taking charge of wherever this new moon is falling. For me, it's in my 12th house, okay? And so I get to be really courageous about my shadow. I know that sounds weird, but I get to be really courageous about my shadow, the things that, you know, I still find shame in, that I'm working through, my own healing process. The 12th house is very quiet, you know, so I'm having this quiet sense of strength that's rolling in. But I'm in a different place this year than I have been in previous years in dealing with the new moon in Leo. Partially because I am deeper into my spirituality, and it's no longer a quote unquote secret. It hasn't been for a while, but just more things that I'm teaching, more things that I'm putting out, that I'm saying that I'm involved in, hoodoo being one of them, definitely diving into learning more. The I don't want to call them deities, but who I connect with is Santa Muerte and Marie Laveau. So getting more information about, why they want to work with me. No, they are calling me to work with them, and I want to know why. Not why, but accept, you know. The cycle brought back up something I've been asking for healing on this weekend. Good. Deal with it. Hey, Bay Jules. So Santa Muerte, long story short, she came to me in a dream when I was 13. And looking back, I didn't realize it was her, but I had this very vivid dream of, and it's funny because 13 is the number of death and tarot, and, she's the personification of holy death. Yes, Natasha, finding purpose behind it. And very vivid dream. I was asleep, and I remember waking up and running into my parents' room and like screaming. I'm like, she's holding my hand. She's holding my hand. She's holding my hand. And my parents were like, wake up. Like I was sleep running, from my room to her room. But I vividly remember there was a skeleton woman sitting in the chair in my room, and she was dressed. And I remember her having some hair, and she was holding my hand. Very vivid. Even at 40, I remember this dream. And I remember how it shook me, how scared I was, how, and it was there. Looking back, I didn't feel there was any harm for her, but it was really a wake-up call for me. Like, this skeleton woman is sitting in my chair and she's holding my hand. Like, what is this? So at 13, it doesn't process. And so I'm like screaming in my parents' room, and they're just like, Siobhan, wake up. Wake up. And it took them a minute to wake me up because it was going down. So looking back on that dream and then discovering Santa Muerte as I've gotten older, it's just like, okay, and then me really embracing death when my father passed. It was always something that, we never like to think about our own, mortality. We want to live forever, but watching my father, go through his process in his health decline, and actually being there with him when he took his last breath, and so seeing death, up close and personal, and what that looks like, what that feels like, being in that energy, in that space, in that room, it changes you in a lot of ways, and I no longer have this fear of death, of mortality, and talking about it and being open to it. And I feel like his transition helped me to come to grips with it, as a whole, and find what my purpose. It does change you permanently. You're absolutely right, but I choose to find, how is it changing me positively. Of course there's grief, and I still go through it every now and then, but I do recognize that my dad is an ancestor now, and he's helping me and showing me different things, and helping me along this way. Hey, Phoenix Revelations. And working with the endings to figure out what is supposed to be reborn from the ending, and of course I'm not making light of any death at all. It's a process, but choosing to look at what is gained by what you are losing, or continuing to do your mourning process, but helping the mourning process along by putting in your pocket the benefits or the lessons that you have learned through the situation, through the person. Hey, Amber, through the circumstance. How did you grow? And that is what helps you to navigate the grief process. Sometimes we can stay stuck, wanting this person, this situation, this circumstance to come back, and this is where, living in the past gets us into this place of depression. But it's allowing yourself to be where you are, to allow those feelings to wash over you, but then to align yourself for the sense of progress of how do we keep moving, I love that my parents are not my elders. Total shift. Yes, they are your elders. They are there, hey Suzanne, to help to guide you. Their presence in your life does not stop. It may stop physically, hey Susie B, but it does not stop, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, especially spiritually. There's still this level of guidance that is being given. But once again, if you are not in the present, you won't see those messages. You won't feel those guidances from them. For you guys that are fully aware, my plant over there is Doodles. So I have energy in my home that reminds me of my dad. I wear my dad, every day in my cremation locket, my angel wing. So I know that his presence is always with me. What about the people whose parents guided you? Wait, I don't understand. What about the people whose parents... whose parents didn't guide you? Who didn't guide you? And that's a different relationship, and that's a relationship that is very individual to the person. The one thing that I learned, in my father's, health issues, and even before he, got sick, probably the last couple years, I actually got to read from my dad before he passed. He asked me to read for him. And for me, that was such an honor. You'll miss the package if you're not present to receive it. Yes, Natasha, exactly. And like he and I got really, really cool, and just talking about different things, and him, I want to say accepting me being in this space, but him really asking me about it, and wanting to know about my days of reading and being at the tea room and how things were, and so that was awesome for me. Wait, what's the message? I've been hearing conversations about memories and honoring our ancestors. Not a vivid dream about my mother who died 20 years ago. Now this conversation. Yes, and we're moving into fall, and fall is the time of remembrance. And really, a lot of ancestral energy comes up around this time, because the world around us is quote unquote kind of dying. The leaves die, the trees, all that kind of stuff. It's just to be starting over again. In fact, we're talking about dads right now as a message. I know mine is waiting on me to come talk to him. Yes. So if this is a call for you guys to get in touch with your ancestors, now is the time. But back to Amber. It really is. You have to go. It's a personal relationship. For those parents that did not guide them. Oh, that's what I was saying. So getting cool with my dad, it allowed me to see him as being human, allowed me to see his upbringing, and how that affected him, and therefore passed down to my upbringing, So all of our parents come from some place. They just don't start and we come from them and that's it. So however they were raised or reared, or the circumstances, the situations they went through and have been through in their lives, it makes an indelible mark on them on how they choose to raise us. So being in that space with my dad and getting to see him for being the human that he was versus just being my dad and supposing to be the superhero, it allowed me to, find grace, to find compassion for the things that I feel were lacking in my childhood growing up, and so being with him in the hospital and, visiting him and talking to him. And at the point when he was in the hospital, like there was no more talking, so it was really me talking to him and just kind of feeling his energy. And he was in the hospital from July until he passed in October. And me being a speech therapist, of course, first thing I want to do is run in there to figure out how do we get daddy communicating again. And, after a while, it was just like, no, let's just be his daughter, Let's just be his daughter and let's just be here. Let's be present. Let's not try to rush things, faster than they're supposed to go. Apparently this is a journey and a process for him. And I would be selfish to rob him of it, even if I feel as though there is suffering. It's not my job. It's not my mission to rush him through his process, because I don't know what he himself is going through, what revelations he is having, what forgivenesses he is going through in his space, even in the midst of being sick. So then my mission was to show up and just be his daughter and to talk to him and tell him about my day and to make sure the nurses were doing what they were supposed to be doing and to talk to the doctors and making sure that he was being cared for properly, and in doing that, it's like I feel like we formed this very close relationship, even in his decline, and it allowed me to be stronger, and it's definitely stronger in my voice by, speaking up to doctors. And I remember one vivid day I went in there and he was on, was he on the vent at that time? Oxygen. He was getting oxygen. And, I walked in and I had on, done up, because how I do it. So I walk in the hospital and I'm immediately checking his stats and checking the machines, and I'm seeing some discrepancies. So I'm calling nurses in, I'm calling doctors in, and I'm like, okay, I need you to tell me what's going on with my dad, because yesterday when I left, it was looking like this, 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 and this, and today it's looking like this, this, and this. What changed? And they're just kind of looking at me like, well, first off, don't worry about how I know what I know. I know that something is different, and I need you guys to tell me why and what happened in my absence. So it allowed me, his sickness helped me to really stand in my voice and not be so, well, I think there's something going on, but I don't know. This is my daddy. I need y'all to tell me what's going on, And so from there, it's like me gaining my voice and being able to stand in it, not just in that situation, but just other situations in life where I am unsure, maybe scared, a little fearful, but it doesn't stop me from speaking up, And, so Amber, with that, for parents that did not guide you, it's about you figuring out, who they are as people, allowing them, grace or compassion or figuring things out, if you're wanting to have a relationship with them. If you're not, if you don't want to, that's totally your decision as well. Hey, Rand Birdsman, that was you. Dad called you Nurse Betty. I love it, Tiana. I love it. And so, being with him and talking to him and, being in that space, once again, I knew that my dad wasn't going to make it. And that was by me being present. When my mom called me on July 18th, 2017, where was I? I was in the cemetery next door to my apartment where I like to just wander and go and to think, Exactly, imaginary restaurant. I was in a cemetery the next door to my apartment reading cards and asking for guidance and asking for, the message and praying, and because that was just my space to go, my happy space to go. And I love cemeteries, and it's weird that people are just like, oh my God, you're weird. And I'm like, yeah, but I can accept that now. I have no fear of being in a cemetery. And so I was in a cemetery when my mom called. And of course, there's no great reception. So I'm like, I heard her say daddy and hospital. And I'm like running to get to the end of the cemetery drive, because it's like this little tucked in space, to hear the rest of the message. And I'm just like, I'm on my way. But I knew at that moment, and when I got to the hospital, I started saving all my text messages, started saving all of my voicemails that had his voice on them, because I knew that he wasn't going to pull through. I didn't know the time frame. That wasn't my business to know at the time. But I just knew that my dad wasn't going to be the same from that point forward. And so, so every day, and I find the blessing in, I wanted to change where I was working. I was working in a school at that time and was trying to interview for another school before the school year let out. So this was before this actually happened. And I was grateful that I was still in schools, because I had the whole summer off to go up to the hospital and be with my dad, to spend all those moments I could with him. And when school started back, because I was in the same school and didn't change, there was grace and there was leeway for me to go and, check on him or get to school a little bit late, because the faculty knew me. I was there for 8 years at that time. So, being able to express what was going on and having that, if I was in a new school, I'm sure I wouldn't have gotten that sense of leeway, So I am grateful when I was upset about not getting that new job. In that space, a year later, I was grateful that I didn't get that new job. And this is why we can't be upset when things don't work out. Hey, Trudy. This is why, because things happen the way that they are supposed to happen. So when I interviewed for that job in May of 2017, I really wanted something new because I was tired of being where I was, and it did not pan out. I had a great interview. They loved me, but they wanted someone that had more experience in a bigger district, and I wasn't the fit candidate for that. And I was upset for a while, and I was like, I gotta stay here, whatever. You let it go. But then coming that summer and rolling into that fall, I was grateful that it did not work out. So this is why we cannot hold on to things that don't work out. There's a reason. You might not know it right then, but I'm sure in time it will show you why it was not the best thing for you. Okay? So October rolls around, and by this time I was Daddy had gotten into a rehab unit. And the first time they were putting clothes on him, and and it was great. It was right here near the house. And then we're still not sure what exactly happened, but he ended up we think he had another mini stroke, and they ended up rushing him to the hospital. And literally then at that point I was just we had made such good progress, but yeah, so it was at that time that I was okay, now I can ask, how much time do we have? So I took to my cards and, really had a conversation with my spirit guides. And I was just I want to know, just let me know when, Daddy's going to pass, just so I can prepare myself, because I knew it was happening. It was no doubt at that point, but just when was that going to happen? And so reading my cards, I still don't know to this process how I got to it, but the number 11 stood bright and tall to me. And I was just okay, it's got something to do with an 11. I'll keep that in my pocket. And so October 4th, I think it was, we had a meeting about hospice and, him being in palliative care. And, we were sitting there, and I was, once again, being brave in my voice and still being scared. But I'm just what are we waiting on? This is not the quality of life my dad would want. And we know that, his passing is coming at some point. But literally, we're just, feeding him. But where is this going? Hey, Vix, where is this going? Why are we still holding on? Because like I said, at this time, I've been going through this process of grief. And it's why are we holding on? So it's my mom, my uncle, and me. I don't think my brother was there, having this conversation. But like I said, I was the brave one to ask this question and say, what are we doing at this point? And so then the nurse switched gears to talk about, what it looks like, if we, stop the feeding tube and all this kind of good stuff. And so my mom and my uncle were just well, no, I get it, because we're still trying to hold on to the shell of my dad. But he himself and his spirit and his energy is no longer there fighting. So once again, what are we holding on to? That's a hard thing to say out loud, because you don't want to come off as the very callous individual that is just okay, stop feeding them. Being honest, and once again, spending that time with my dad and knowing that he would not want that quality. That is not quality of life for him. We were younger. His whole thing was, don't put me in a hospital. If I get sick, take me to the woods with my camping equipment and my weapons and leave me. That was my dad. He was a Vietnam vet. But standing in my voice and having that hard conversation to allow my father to, pass in the way that he's supposed to, instead of keeping him alive for our sake, because we are afraid of death. We are afraid of, losing him, when a lot of him is already lost. So getting up for, so the weekend passed, we decided, okay, not to do that. My dad's the same, along with his dog. And so it's just like, the weekend passed, and the nurse was just like, yeah, it's getting closer. And so we were like, yeah, we know, we get it. And so I was driving to work and dropped my kid off at school, and my mom called, and she was like, today is the day. And I was like, okay, I'm on my way. And of course it was the 11th of October. So that's where the 11 comes in. And I said, and as soon as she said it, I was just like, today's that day. So I was given this, being present and having this connection to have this forewarning. So when I got to the hospital, I told my mom, and I was just like, yeah, Ma, today's the day. And I told her my experience, and she was just like, wow, And so we're just calling people, to the hospital, close friends and family. And, we were all around surrounding him. And it was, watching him literally, take his last breath. And they called time, and it was 11 a.m. So another 11. So in that space, number one, I knew a couple of things. That my dad's energy, his spirit, my spirit guides, they were all in communication in cahoots to let me know what the deal was. Okay. It also let me know that there is communication, beyond the talking that we do with live people every day, and that there is something, higher than all of us that will communicate with you if you sit to listen. I could have just took that 11 and been like, okay, whatever, and kept it going, But if we sit and pay attention and we are present, we get all of the answers that we need. But we are in such a, I need it right now, that we don't allow for that. And then we fall into this space of anxiety because we're living too far forward. Because we're wanting to know what's going to happen way down the line. We want to plan for it. In this instance, it was like the beginning of October, and I knew there wasn't a lot of time. So I felt comfortable in that space to say, okay, what is my time frame? I knew it was like 11 days, the number 11, perhaps November, but I knew November he would not have, lasted as long as November. 11 hours, something with the number 11. And here we are with, the 11th at 11 a.m., sorry. I felt that way about my children's great-grandmother, but it was my place to speak the final results. She suffered the last month because the family was holding on to the shell and memories. Exactly. I was fortunate enough to have my dad. Prepare. Good. Yes. And so, this brings me back to this space of, of grieving. And like I said, it doesn't necessarily have to be a person. That's just my story. But mortality and death, it's nothing to be fearful of. And we have to check ourselves, when we are in these spaces of what are we holding on to and why. Once again, it doesn't have to be a person. It can be a situation. It can be a circumstance, a possession. What are we holding on to? Is it serving us? Are we taking something away from it by holding on to it and not giving it space to fly and be itself, whatever it may be? Sometimes our ego doesn't want us to let go of something, especially. So I know some ladies, and even men, more ladies that I hear from, in relationships that, you've struggled with this man and he's finally where he needs to be and the relationship is trash, but you're just like, no, I'm not letting him go for some other woman to get up on in this good stuff now. That's silly. You may have been the catalyst to get that man to where he is, but it's not it doesn't behoove you to hold on if it is not working out. You have to let it go. You have to recognize your place in his growth and say, okay, cool, do you? Because why be miserable in a situation just because you want to hang on to what's rolling in now. You know? So, my connection with, Santa Muerte happened a long time ago, before I even had an idea of who she was. And so, talking about death and endings is a secret thing. So once again, why this new moon in my 12th house is really being lit up right now. Yes, ma'am, Natasha. Keep me on task. Oh shoot, I didn't mean to do it twice, but there we go. It is something that I am interested in. I know that this energy, I'm supposed to work with it, maybe to help other people, but if I'm too fearful of it, I won't be able to step into those shoes. Okay. But with that being said, kind of an offshoot, but not really, recognizing your worth and leaving a situation when your worth is not recognized. Once again, you don't have to hold on to someone or something that is throwing you scraps. But if you don't know who you are, if you can't stand strong in what you're worth, you will continue to halfway starve and wait for the scraps that are being thrown to you. Relationships. I'd rather have a piece of a man than no man. Self-worth work is needing to be done there. And I can say that out loud because I've been there. I've had pieces of men and not the whole thing. But I had to check myself and say, is this what you really want? A piece of something that doesn't come with, full commitment, that doesn't come with, the stuff that you want? Aren't you worth more? So, that was hard work to dig into there and figure out where self-worth comes from and why it was the way that it was. And for me to just kind of dust hands on pieces of things, because we can collect pieces to make a whole puzzle. We can collect all the pieces to make this full puzzle, but it's mismatched. You can't frame it. You can't put it up. You can't show off your handiwork. So what's the point? What's the point? There is no point. So recognizing your worth, even in job situations, you know what your value is, what you can do, but if you are not being compensated appropriately for it, if you are not being treated with respect, if you are not valued, why are we staying? I want to be whole, so I attract someone who is whole as well. That part, Natasha. Because if you're broken, you're going to attract broken. And sometimes we have to do that to recognize, ooh, you broken. And he'd be like, mirror, ooh, I'm broken. Let me do the work. The job, law, yes. The only pieces we should be putting together is ourselves to make ourselves whole again. Absolutely right, Lulu. Absolutely right. That's like putting two puzzles together and you got to figure out which piece goes where. Who got that kind of time? Nobody. Work on your own puzzle. Make it beautiful so you can shellac that bitch, frame it, and put it on the wall. As soon as they give updated job description, I'm planning my exit. Good for you. I had to recognize my worth today. Some girl thought I was about to have me. She's about to have me in an entanglement. Yes, Amber. Know the entanglements. Now, don't get me wrong. Sometimes entanglements can be what they're supposed to be for whatever they're supposed to be for. But if you in your mind is like, nope, I'm not going down this path, good for you. Recognize your worth. No, I don't want an entanglement. I want something more than that. And stand your ground. Good for you. Hey, Born Spunky. So, um, so yeah, so this is what my 12th house is about. I realized a while ago, can I heal anyone or make them see what they need to see? You can't. Nope. But I promise you, if you do the work for yourself and you are a whole person and those people really want to learn, they'll be like, damn, Felix doing his shit. Let me spruce myself up. Let me get myself together. That is how you help people. By showing them a good model image. You know? Because sometimes when you try to help people and they don't want the help, it creates chaos. You know? The mirror is real. If you don't see your worth, the world will see that reflection. Oh, 100%. And there are so many, manipulators, narcissists out here that are just waiting for you to show up as a half version of yourself. So they can sell you all the candy about how they're going to make you whole, how they're going to fix this and that. And they have filled in your holes. And now you have created this toxic relationship because now you can't be without them. And then they treat you like shit and you can't do anything about it because you don't want to lose what they have given you, which is a whole bunch of nothing, honestly. People have told me I've shown them how to heal by being so transparent with my journey. Yes, that's it. The universe dangled a carrot of a sexuation, and I walked away because I want more that he could offer. Come on with this word, sexuation. Yes. I just call it situationships. My libido was angry, but I am proud of me for not taking the bait. Good for you, Natasha. Yes. Universe will always dangle carrots. We create our world until we learn from them. You're absolutely right. Every pattern that you have in your life, it is a recreation until you do something different the next time. So you think, okay, I got this one thing out of my life, but you didn't do the work to switch or change anything. Then something else comes along and you're like, I feel like I just got out of this. It's a new person, a new time, a new outfit, a new whatever. But it's the exact same circumstance because you didn't change anything. You didn't do any internal work to change how you were projecting. So you're just going to attract the very same thing in a different package. So if you want change, you got to start within. You have to give death to some of the things that are in you that are not conducive to what you're actually seeing for your future. You know? You have to let it go. It's not. If we hold on to it, it's just like it's taking up space, And I can speak in my dad in this way because, number one, he is my dad. And like I said, I've gotten to the point where I can be very open and candid. So in that space, when I know my dad's energy was not, no longer inhabiting his body at that point, it's like, okay, this is a shell, and this shell is taking up hospital space that other people could be using, that could be in a rehabilitative state, that could actually get better. I know my dad is not going to get better from this space, so let's do what we need to do so we can let this go. To let his shell go, to move his shell into the next space, to allow something or someone else to take over this area so that they can have a better chance at life. Same thing with the things that we hold on to. The stuff that's inside of us, if it's not bringing you life, let it go. The past is the past. The past is the past. You can change it. Let it go. Yeah. Hey, Woodland Tarot. So it's like, let go of what is no longer serving to make space and room for what is trying to come into life or what is trying to come behind it, the rebirth. So it's saying goodbye to some parts of yourself that are no longer useful at this time. Especially if there's a vast difference between this behavior or this situation and where you see yourself being, let it go. Work through the process of letting it go. People who don't serve your purpose, things, thoughts, feelings, let them go. Exactly. Because what's the point of holding on to it? What's the point of letting it take up space? There is no point. It's just taking up space. You know? And so once again, the Santa Muerte for me is the holy death. It's about, recognizing what death is, and not just a person, just in situations, and being okay with letting them go. And she is the mother of all mothers, and she, no matter where you are in your situation, Santa Muerte is there for you. You can be a gambler, you can be a stripper, you can be, high and mighty, you can be whoever you are, who you want to be. And she like, let me help you out. The misfit that I am is like, I'm on board with that. Let's work together. I swear this letting go message has been following me the last few days. Spirit is not subtle. It ain't. It's not. But you're present to hear this message, which lets you know that, once again, if you are present, things start to add up. And this is just another breadcrumb for you to let you know that, there's a message. But if you weren't present and you were just here and you're just like, okay, but you're thinking about 30 other things, you would have missed everything that I said at Phoenix Revelations. You would have missed everything. It would have all blown over your head because you were thinking about other things. But now, because you were here, you were present, you were listening and really taking in the message that was coming through me, that's another breadcrumb for you to be like, okay, there's something here that I need to dive into. So, yeah. Anything else? No, I really feel like that's the biggest message for today is don't be afraid of letting things go. There is no fear. It brings something new, And so, I want to show you guys this wonderful thing I had made for my mom for Mother's Day, and a friend of mine, Flo, she's on here, Fancy Crochet. She's not on here today, but she made this wonderful likeness of my dad to give to my mom. And so this is it's a crochet doll of my dad. And hey, Tarot Therese. So I had it here at the house for a while, and sitting him next to Doodles, my two Doodles. But just seeing this and seeing him, and I was just it was just like, there's my dad, And I wish I could show you the other pictures too far away from the picture that I sent her. But it's just to give my mom, a touchstone, a talisman, for her to have at the home, But this is my poppy, and yeah, love it to pieces. So he's at my mom's house. He sleeps on his side, he sleeps on my dad's side of the bed, and she takes his glasses and his hat off at night. And so, but these are just ways that I keep my father's memory alive, in positive ways, not in mournful ones, and so she loved it, and my brother loved it. My brother actually had a more major reaction than my mom did. And so I wish I had gotten two made so that I could have given him one too. But so yeah, so this is my pop, and this is his little hat because he was a Marine Corps. He was in the Marines. So she found some pins to put on his little hat. So yeah. Oh, you have one of your dog. A friend of mine had one of her dog made too. No, I didn't make this. Her name is Ajua. She goes by Flo, and her website I think is fancycrochet.com. But she makes likenesses of people. Hey, Wise Owl Tarot. Yes, I choose to remember those that have passed on in positive ways and not mournful ones, because they still working. I'm still putting them to work. I'm still asking for prayers and asking for help. So like, I don't want to mourn. Like, they're still around. They're just not in the physical form that what we are used to, you know. But I leave the doors of communication open because I still want to hear from them. I still want messages from them, you know. So um so yeah, so coming back to that new moon in the 12th house, and this just like spirituality and secret, and even though death is in the 8th house, um for me, that's where a lot of things show up, unconscious things. So that's where I'm at, today. But I started all this just talking about my self-care, and then Santa Muerte and all that other stuff came out. So I guess that was the message for today. I have a little of my mom's ashes left. I'm going to follow your lead and make a necklace. Yes. Yes. And with my dad, when my mom and I went on a cruise a couple years ago, and she took ashes, and we left ashes every place we went. So, she was in the water and she said prayers and she let some ashes go, and, we sprinkled them in different places. So he went with us on these trips, because he was, into traveling toward the end. He and her were like cruisers and travelers, and they were doing things. And so Disney was one of his favorite places. So we took some ashes to Disney, and like the little shopping area, and there was some running water. Sprinkled some ashes over there, had said some prayers. But yeah, so not a friend, but she was a woman in one of the marketplaces, made cremation lockets. And so, yeah, so I just have an angel wing, and I put his ashes inside. Are there readings for messages from them that we can do ourselves? Honestly, I mean, using tarot, using oracle cards, it really is, you just connecting and saying, whoever you wanting to connect with or talk to. Sorry. And saying, send me a message. What do you want to tell me? Mediumship doesn't have to always be like we see it on TV, where we're like pulling all these valid, when horseback riding 3 years ago, you had on blue jeans. It doesn't have to be that difficult. If you have a favorite oracle deck, if you have a tarot deck, and you're like, what, I just need some guidance. I need a message. And you're asking this person that has passed over, what can you tell me, or what message do you have for me? Shuffle and pull just one card. It doesn't have to be difficult. Whatever message you get from that one card is the message that you are meant to get from that person. Okay? Like I said, all of us are intuitive, and it doesn't have to be as, I don't even call it theatrical, but as fantastical as how we see mediumship done. Going up to people and like, I see your dead aunt and she's telling me, and each one teach one. If that floats your boat, by all means, have at it. See a medium if you want, if that's what you're looking for. But sometimes if you want to do it for yourself, the message can be as simple as that. You can divine from anything. Pick up a book, ask your question, open it up, read the first couple sentences, or pick one sentence and read it. You can literally, you can divine from anything, But yeah, one card pull. What do I need to know? Or this is a situation that I'm going through. I really would need some words of wisdom. What do you have for me? There you go. Magic is everywhere. All the time. And like I tell you guys are the magic. It's not always in the tools. You charge the tools with your energy, but it really is about believing in yourself, to change events and circumstances. Everyone has the ability to do it. Yes, I thought maybe there were special spreads, but one card is a great thing. I mean, and there can be special spreads if you Google. I don't think I have a special spread that I use, because I just kind of read and intuitively go, and I use my charms a lot for mediumship readings. But if you Google, ancestor readings, ancestor tarot spreads, mediumship tarot spreads. You will find what you're looking for. I was just about to say Pinterest is your treasure chest of all things. So you can definitely find what you're looking for there if you're looking for a full spread. You can create your own spread. Think of yourself, the questions that you want to ask, and then lay out cards. That's something I'm going to add in my Patreon too. I am working on that, by the way. Patreon will be coming up soon. I'm hoping to drop it September 1st for you guys that are interested, and it's going to be a spirituality tea party. Hey! I love wordplay, if you guys don't know by now. So a spirituality party. And I am creating the tiers. And one of them is going to have like a tarot card spread. My thought process right now is to have a theme for every month. And then everything that goes within the tiers is going to fit into that theme. Okay, so we might have, we're going to tarot card spread, a live or a Zoom on that topic. What else did I write down? Definitely going to have, yes, Natasha, I'm going to have, zodiac. So there's like elemental tea, where it's just the elements that I give, card readings for at the beginning of the month, kind of like a horoscope. And then there's an astrolo tea, and it's like every sign broken down. Thank you, Barrett. So like I said, I'm working through my tiers. I plan to drop it September 1st, but that's the way that I'm planning it, is a theme for the month. And then everything that goes along with that, adding with the tiers is just more and more into that theme. So classes, me giving personal tarot readings, based on the tarot spread within that theme. That's how it's rolling down, downloading to me. So I'm working through that. You guys will definitely get more information about it. If you guys are looking, manifestation group starts tomorrow. I know that I have not sent out emails just yet. I'm finalizing them. They will go out today. For those of you that have signed up, if you're interested in working with manifestation group, for this new moon coming up, you can do that by clicking the link in my bio, Magic of Manifestation. And I'll get your information to be able to send you the email as well. Such a busy bee. Aw, thank you, Natasha. Yes, I am grateful to be in this space, and I don't want to feel like I am squandering. Hi, Miss Jennifer 1210. I don't want to feel like I'm squandering any energy, any resource, any way that I can help others, in this space of being an intuitive mistress by being the Tarot BFF. So I really want to maximize and give you guys what you're looking for. I was thrown under the bus this morning, gratefully. There was someone that was asking about spirit boards, and spirit boards are basically like Ouija boards. And if there was a class on spirit board, and there isn't that I know of. So I was just like, and so the person, Jamie, she's not here on here now, but threw me in the bus. It was like, well, check with Viva. And I started making them because of her. And I'm like, so now I'm also in the process of creating a class on spirit board. If any of you guys have one, if you're interested, Ouija boards are not portals to the devil and hell and Satan and the whole shebang. They're just another divination tool to use for divining. So I'll be brainstorming a class on how to use a spirit board. If you're looking for a spirit board, you can definitely get in touch with Jamie. She can help you out. But I'll bring that on my next live, so I can show you guys what mine looks like. Your girlfriend won't allow one here. I get it. Everybody's not for Ouija boards or spirit boards. They have such bad connotations. I asked for one very, very early in my childhood. So I knew I was different. And then took it to my Catholic school for field day. So, they said bring board games. How was I supposed to know it wasn't a board game for everybody? I will. So, yeah. With that being said, I am just going to pull one card for everyone today. That's on this live, because I feel like talking about death, talking about rebirth, it was like the biggest message that needed to be heard by everyone that was here. Once again, I did not put up a promo video to say I was coming, and I was a little bit late, and all y'all showed up. So we're here. So what message do we need to have outside of talking about death today? What is everyone here needing to know? What is the message for everyone here? Yes, you got your Ouija board too? Yes, Phoenix Revelations, we are twins. The nuns were like, yeah, no. All right, so let's see. What else is the message for everyone here? The Eight of Coins in reverse. All right, so reverse cards, you already know internal energies. This 8 is about movement. Coins are about resources. So this is talking about an internal movement of your own resources. This is about promoting yourself, of leveling yourself up, looking within yourself to figure out what talents, what skills, what knowledge, what resources do you have? Where do you need to put more energy? Sometimes putting more energy into those things means we need to let go of other things that are taking up space. Okay? There are so many things in you that need fine tuning that, can be made immaculate when you're ready to bring it out to the world, but you really have to do that internal work, moving things around, figuring things out for yourself. Promote yourself, recognize your worth and what you are able to accomplish and create just in your own energy. You have everything that you need inside of you already. Seeking outside of you, is not always the best thing. Hey, Lindsay, everything that you need, you already have. It's just time for you to move some things around, shake some things up, let go of some things that, you may have been taught that just don't fit your personality, your spirit, your energy anymore, or even ever. You have to promote yourself before the world promotes you. Okay? So I hope that message resonates with everyone here. Self-promotion, yes. Your value, your worth. If you know it and you exude it, the world has no other option but to treat you as how you treat yourself. Okay? And that's on that, Miss Jennifer, period. Hey, Satori. Okay? So, I love you guys. Thank you so much for joining. Like I said, if you guys are looking for one-on-one readings, hit my link in my bio for Sea Breeze readings, 30 or 60 minutes. If you guys are wanting to join Magic of Manifestation, the link is there. We start tomorrow. First Zoom call is tomorrow night at 8. Look out for my Patreon. I'll be talking more about it before the 1st. But just get your coin together and just know that y'all going to be subscribing, because I want all of y'all there to do the monthly subscription. And I'll have different tiers for different price levels and different things. Thank you so much, Imaginary Restaurant. Yes, Shank. You're welcome, Altrina. If you just guys want to DM me, talk to me, let me know what you guys are looking for. If there's a class that you're looking for more information on that I can teach, let me know that so I can brainstorm it. I really want to give you guys what you want to make this world, this type of space conducive to you, to allow for this sense of internal growth, so that you guys can be helpers and healers for the outside world as well. It's already in you. If you're here, it's already in you. So yeah, if I can help to facilitate that, grow that, be a teacher in that, I sign up. Okay. Yeah. With that being said, I'm about to go get some candles, and get some sushi, and go to the bookstore and do my own little self-care stuff today, because I need it. I deserve it. I'm worth it. And that's that on that. So I love you guys. Thanks for showing up. I will see you Wednesday for Turnt Tea at noon. I am V, and you just got read. Mwah. Bye, guys.